Next, candidate of Federal Liberal Thornton Riding Association and Special Assistant to the Minister of Education of the Government of Ontario on Multicultural, Dr. Karen Mock. She was educated at the University of Toronto, earning her PhD in Applied Psychology in 1975. In 2001, Karen Mock was appointed Executive Director and CEO of the Canadian Race Relations Foundation, a federal crown corporation. Prior to her 4 years with the CRRF, she served 12 years as National Director of the League for Human Rights of B'nai Canada, and as Executive Director of the League's Human Rights Education and Training Center. Dr. Karen Mock, please step up, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you very much. When Bob Bach invited me, I think there's a theme here running through, isn't there? And it really does show how the community is very much working together. But when he did invite me and I was briefed, he said, people will bring greetings for 2 minutes, but you get 5 minutes. So I think to make a couple of additional remarks, it's not exactly a keynote address, but I was very thrilled to be invited to bring my congratulations, certainly, for the kind of leadership in the community that the Galleria supermarket has shown. Congratulations, Mr. Min. This is really a wonderful testimony to how business can work so hand in hand with community and how essential that is in today's climate. And I don't just mean the chilly climate. I mean in today's climate where the nonprofit sector and so much of the funding and in a recession climate has been cut back, and why it is so important to maintain those kinds of services that shore up the members of civil society, shore up the services that municipally, provincially, and federally people are able to give. So to have all levels of government represented here, and even those aspiring to get into one of the levels of government, but this isn't a political speech, as we know, but to have all the levels represented and to show that they will work hand in hand to support community is a model that we wish many communities would follow. This is one of the things that in the last few months, meeting more people from Thornhill in particular and from the surrounding community, I have seen is very characteristic of this community. People helping people, hand in hand. I would also like to comment, I know that we have seen some of the presidents and some of the volunteer leaders here, also some of the paid staff from the organizations, but I wanted also to thank the many, many volunteers who work in those organizations. And by the way, having been a staff person in the League for Human Rights of B'nai B'rith and the Canadian Race Relations Foundation and other nonprofit organizations, when I thank the volunteers, first and foremost, I must also say we need to thank the staff who we know their service in the nonprofit sector goes way above and beyond the call of duty and the hours that they are paid for to make up for that shortfall. So another round of applause for those well-deserving organizations that have received your support. Share the love. I was so impressed by that title. Why? Because it's so positive. In my work for the last 30 years, regrettably, has been spent combating hate. That's very much what the language is. We talk about anti-racism. We talk about fighting for human rights. I mean, the language is very adversarial. It's, people talk about more what they are against. In fact, after I leave here, after going to hear Michael Ignatieff at the university, I will be going to the University of Toronto, where for the last 6 years I have been special advisor to the judges and lawyers of Ontario and others in the legal community, the academics, for a series of conferences we've been doing called Combating Hate in the 21st Century. Again, combating hate. So share the love. We have to have the legislation. We have to have all the measures in place to combat the hate. But in my view, more importantly, we need to support what we are for. We are for multiculturalism. We are for positive race relations, harmony. We are for health. We are for respect. In my, I have to add the word former capacity, as Senior Policy Advisor to the Minister of Education, Kathleen Wynne, she'd asked me to come and assist her to create and deliver the Equity and Diversity Strategy for all Ontario schools. It's called Equity and Inclusive Education. And we did that, and we have delivered it. It's what we in this province, in this country, in this municipality are for. And I looked at your documents about the Galleria. I was drawn, yes, there were very important aspects of business, but I was drawn to 3 sections on community involvement, cultural involvement, and ethical management. Right there in the mandate and in the material that the staff and the community sees in the annual report. Respecting human rights. There are 12 points in the Code of Ethics, and when I reviewed them, the word respect is there many, many times. We can summarize them as respect, fairness, integrity, health, healthy community, healthy work environment, equitable work environment, and working hand-to-hand with the community. So, from the bottom of my heart, I will pledge also to share the love and to hopefully be able soon to work even harder for Thornhill and the members of this riding. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karen Mok. That was a wonderful speech. I think that was the first speech that I ever actually listened to.
이상으로 전달식을 마치고요. 모든 분들과 함께 사진 촬영이 있겠습니다. 모두 당상 앞으로 나와주시면 대단히 감사드리겠습니다.
Thank you very much.
이상으로 제3회 모든 갤러리아 사랑 나누기 행사를 마치도록 하겠습니다.
갤러리의 사랑 나누기 행사에 동참해주신 모든 분들께 감사드립니다. 모아진 기금은 한인 캐나다 자선단체에 전달되어 우리 주위의 불우이웃과 장애우, 무위탁 노인들을 돕는 데 쓰여집니다. 향토기업과 함께하는 갤러리아의 이웃사랑, 앞으로도 계속됩니다.
갤러리